ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीमष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। सर्वेभ्यः स्वागतम्। अत्र भगवद्गीतायाः प्रत्यध्यायं केचन विषयाः यदि अस्मच्चिन्तनं तार्किकं वैदिकं च कर्तुं चोदकं भवति तद्विषये चिन्तयन्तः स्मः. This is a series of understanding of some critical shlokas which provide a nuance thoughts over the messages that we get out of Bhagavad Gita chapter after chapter. So we were in the fourth chapter after considering the yajna as the way of life and what is the importance of yajna in short. In the fourth chapter, it is Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, where the importance of jnana has been narrated very beautifully. And in the beginning, Krishna says in one or the two shlokas that evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu imam vivasvate yogam. For the first time, I gave this knowledge to Vivaswan, and Vivaswan gave to Manu. Manu gave it to the rest of the rishis in the parampara. And then he says, Kalena Mahata Yogaha Nashtaha. The same yoga which has been taught to Vivaswan, the Surya, for the first time, deteriorated into non-following philosophical just thought. Therefore, that has to be revived. There is no change in the principles and aspects of dharma ever from its original teachings. But then time is one of the culprits that we can say time is the cause of any deterioration. So dharma also had been followed from the first yuga, that is Satya and Krita Yuga. That is the dharma with 4 legs, it walks. The dharma walks with 4 legs. And in Treta Yuga with 3 legs. In Dwapara Yuga with 2 legs. And in Kali Yuga it is with 1 leg. Dharma is limping and trying to go along with society, but it is very difficult. Therefore, we have names Krita Yuga or Satya Yuga, where dharma was with 4 legs, and Treta, Trini, with 3 padas. The dharma goes with in Treta Yuga, where Ramayana occurred. Then in Dwapara Yuga, when Mahabharata occurred, then it is Dwapara with only 2 legs. And then Kali Yuga with 1 leg, it is limping. So why, if the dharma is original, dharma is very valuable and also very much practical to the humanity, why it is reduced as on today in Kali Yuga? Because of the time itself. So, evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduho saha kalena iha mahata kalena. For very long practice of the same dharma, it has been destroyed. Nashtaha parantapa. And Krishna says to him, Saha eva ayam yogaha maya tedya proktaha. The same yoga which had been taught to Vivaswan for the first time is being taught to you in the battlefield. So there is no difference in that. And then Arjuna asks, Array, you say that you have told, but now you are in the form of Krishna and you are teaching for the first time. Then he says, Array, I had many janmas and you also had many janmas, and we are here only. Our karma phala in the previous life, and now I am Krishna, you are Arjuna. That is it. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacha Arjuna. Me janmani vyatitani bahuni. There were many janmas for me and even for you. Tani aham veda sarvani natvam vedha parantapa. Hey Arjuna, you do not know. I know who was I, and you do not know who are you. Therefore, it was a kind of memory that Krishna had forever in his life and rest of us do not have. So he says, if we all have been there earlier, what is the purpose and why are we here back? What is the reason if we were earlier? Then Krishna is categorically saying, why is he here right now in the battlefield in Dwapara Yuga? What is the purpose? What is the goal? Then Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tada atmanam srijami. When do I come? Whenever there is a deterioration, when there is nasha of dharma and rise of adharma, then I come here. It is my duty. परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. Whoever likes, whatever condition others may say, but this is my duty to come here and maintain the harmony in the society by bringing in a systematic approach of Varna. Then he further says in the 13th shloka that Chaturvarnim maya sishtam guna karma vibhagashaha tasya kartaram apimam vidhi akartaram apyayam. Know me as the creator of Chaturvarna system and consider me not as a creator, because one who doesn't aim for having the results of any action has no attachment with the karma. See, if I am reading any text, any textbook for an examination, then I will have worry whether I will be able to pass in the examination, whether it is a right answer that I will be able to impress the evaluator. These worries will come to me because I am doing it for an examination. But what if, for my joy, for my happiness, for my contentment, I just go through the content of textbook. I am not bound by any examination. There is no one to ask me whether you have studied for the 1 mark, multiple choice, or elaboration, essay type question. There is no bondage for one who reads for joy of understanding the concept. Therefore, it is very similar context even for Krishna, that he has nothing to gain or to lose out of what he does. This is the difference between Mahatma and the rest of the common public. So, Chaturvarnim maya sishtam guna karma vibhagashaha tasya kartaramapi mam vidhi akartaramapim. I am the doer, but I am not the doer because I am neither to gain or to lose out of what I do. So, I am the doer, but without any personal interest. But then, what he does, Chaturvarnim maya system. I created a system called Chaturvarna. This is one of the most controversial topics to be spoken as of now, because we know that people are discussing about negative consequences of what is Chaturvarna system. But have they ever pondered upon what are the positive side of Chaturvarna? It is actually a strategy that that is employed by the British, that is break and rule. They break and they rule. So we are all the victims of the breakage of the whole society, that there is a community, there is jati, there is kula called brahmanas, and brahmanas are all the time are the suppressors of the rest of the varnas, and kshatriyas are they are massacring everywhere, and the Vaishyas are, haves and have-nots. This division, which is in isms, capitalism or communism or Marxism, it is a very natural way of thinking, because that is the only goggles, that is the only ways that society, their society has been developed, that there is a suppressor, there is a looter. So in our culture, there is no suppressor or the looter. There is a distribution of work labor based on your nature. That is why in the shloka, Chaturvarnam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashah. Guna and Karma. The Guna is Trigunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. And Karma is whatever one chooses to follow in the life. Therefore, Guna and Karma will be the critical factors deciding what is the Varna which is chosen by an individual. It is not a compulsion from the society, from a community, or from other external sources, but it is a personal choice. Who wants to become what? Whether one wants to become a Vaishya, or Brahmana, or Shudra, or Kshatriya. And one who did not accept this very system called Chaturvarna was named as Panchama Varna, okay, who did not follow these four Varnas, who are not Shudras, who are not Kshatriyas or Vaishyas or Brahmanas, were called Panchama Varna. And we need to keep this factor in our mind whenever there is a system given to us in a society from an emics perspective, from an internal perspective or the point of view. There is no superiority, there is no inferiority, and everything, every job, every profession, every quality has its own place, its own time, and its own context of its practice. So, if we say that Brahmanas were the suppressors and the rest of them were suppressed, then even today, the minority is what is the suppressors, and we have democracy, we have every freedom to choose whatever one wants. This is our society, and there is no suppressor and suppressed community approach ever existed in this world. And even Panchama Varna who did not accept, but they were free to practice something else other than this four. Let us understand what is this Guna and Karma Vibhaga and Chaturvarna system, which we all follow by default, but we do not want to be labeled as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, and Panchama. This is all naturally existing. Though he says in the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita that I have created, it is also he says I did not create. That means it is a self emerged system in our society that we will have four Varna system. So, what is this four Varna basically? It contemplates on what you want to do, what is your temperament of doing as your profession, and your most of the time will be spent with that profession and that job, and that Varna you belong to. So there is no superiority, there is no inferiority, there is no up or down place for any of the Varnas in our culture. If at all there is any practice in the past, in our history that has been seen, it is a misunderstanding, or it is some individual's ego that has been played, and that is what is bringing very wrong message to our society, um, to a system that which kept all the communities, all the individuals together as a harmonious system in our society. That those are the culprits. So culprits are those individuals, not the very system itself. So let us analyze who is this Shudra, and what is the nature of Vaishya, and what does Kshatriya do, and who is a Brahmana. We have to analyze, and we have to identify which Varna that we belong to. There is nothing wrong in identification, and there is nothing wrong to be in one or the other Varna, as everything is equal. So, um, Shudra by definition is the one who melts, who is compassionate by looking someone else's pain. And it says, Shucha Dravati iti Shudra, the fellow who melts. Dravati, Dravana, Dravati means one who flows. Shucha Shokena, by looking at the pain of either oneself or the other, one who melts, who cries, and who stretches the helping hands to anyone who is required. And basically, that involves the motivation and self motivation and helping nature, service. So, this all together becomes Shudra. If at all we are human beings, we need to be Shudras first. So, Shudra is the basic and fundamental quality to be a human being. So, everybody talks about human rights, and there are many, you know, the social activism has been started. Activisms have been started in our society, but however, uh, from our point of view, the Shudra is nothing but the fellow who has the compassionate approach towards everyone who is in pain. That person is called Shudra. So, are we not Shudras? We are Shudras because we cry and we show our emotions, we show our compassions to whoever is in pain. And see, are we not worried about Hamas and the Israel? Were we not worried about Ukraine and Russia? Were we not were we not pained because in various parts of this country many riots have happened? So therefore, anyone who has that compassion and stretching hands approach to whoever is in pain, everyone is Shudra. So this is by definition, humans are Shudras. The next one is Vaishya. Vaishya is one who has much more interest in increasing the wealth in the society. One who sees the society is getting richer. In the society, everybody is happy because the basic resources are provided, because the GDP or something. What is wealth creation? That as a profession, whoever decides one life to be, that person can be identified as Vaishya. And then Kshatriya. Yes, for everything, protection is what is very fundamental need of every individual or to the community. Therefore, I use all my resources to protect my community, my nation, and whoever I identify, these are my people. That is what is basic the duty of a Kshatriya. Then comes Brahmana. Apart from all these, having Shudra quality, having Vaishya quality, having Kshatriya quality, I think there is something beyond our day to day activities. There is much more beyond. what is visible. There is much more beyond what can be controlled. There is much more beyond what is beyond our reach. Therefore I contemplate and I try to step down the knowledge which is in the Vedas, which are beyond our reach, to the reachable format. And I have the interest to give this knowledge to everyone. Whoever thinks this is what I can do and this is what is my capability, that was the person who was identified as Brahmana. So many of us are Brahmanas, many of us are Kshatriyas, many of us are Vaishyas and Shudras, and we should not be pressed because someone else is labeling us and claiming your society is very bad because of this division. This division is not our creation. This is unification for which this very system has been established in our society, and we have to think very seriously. This is not point of our inferior position of our society, but we have to establish. And there is no a very hard rule that you have to be Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, or Brahmana. According to your choices, based on your temperament of the mind, you are identified as either Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Brahmana. It is your choice. So that choice has been given in our society, for which we are all we have to be proud of. We have something unifying system in our society. So whenever we try to argue that Varna system or Jati system, we can discuss about Jati system as well. Why do we have Jatis, and what is this very Jati concept and idea and framework in which our society has been developing itself, and even now it exists. Whoever may say whatever, but this is what is organically developed system in our culture. That is what is our pride of our culture. So with this, we will look into few more critical concepts in fourth chapter in the next session. सर्वेभ्यः नमांसि, धन्यवादाः सर्वेभ्यः.